Haven't been here before, or have you? They're serving something you remember called real meals. A place called Boston Market, built around ovens, not microwaves or fryers. Slow-roasted rotisserie chicken, juicy turkey breast in its own natural juices, tender double-glazed ham, and freshly prepared side dishes like mashed potatoes from scratch. Eat like you remember.
Pick up a great home-style meal at Boston Market starting at just $3.99.
What happened to the Boston Market in Carl Place, Long Island? Once one of the most family's popular spots for getting a casual meal has now turned into a franchise that is almost completely dead in the water. Starting as Boston Chicken back in 1985, they eventually changed their name to Boston Market in 1997. With hundreds of locations spanning across the US and other countries, this was one of the top spots you could go to get all types of things, from meatloaf to chicken, spinach, mashed potatoes, you name it. We're here right now in Carl Place on Old Country Road, and this is one of the last remaining Boston Market locations that you can actually visit. While this place is not open at all, it's one of the buildings where you can still see what once was a Boston Market. You can look at the top right here and you can see that the sign is already being torn off. We don't know exactly what's going to happen to Boston Market, but I'm excited on Grossman World to show you this building and give you a little bit more information about the history of this amazing company. This is Grossman World Boston Market. Let's check it out. Take a look at this sign, guys. I think it's so funny that when these businesses go out, how quickly distress comes. You can see this peeling on the top of this tapestry here, kind of on the overhang of the Boston Market. This is really starting to decay. And you can even look up here. You can see they kind of had a for rent sign, it looks like. But even that's gone away. You can see some of that iconic maroon tile on the inside there. And as we walk around this building, I'm going to give you more shots of what this building once was. Look at this distress. This is really something else. You can even see there's fallen grates right here. I mean, this looks like an escape heist. What happened here? I don't know if they have a specific construction plan when they come and build these franchises. I imagine so. If I were a business owner and wanted to open a Boston Market, I imagine they kind of give you the whole rigmarole, the whole blueprint of how it should look, because every franchise should essentially look the same. I want to walk up here because you're going to see some very interesting things. First being all of this distressed tapestry. You know, Boston Market was the king for home-style meals. I mean, you could walk in and you had the whole buffet, and you could make, you know, you pick your two meats, pick your sides. I loved getting the meatloaf along with some mac and cheese, maybe some mashed potatoes, green beans. What did you guys order at Boston Market? Now, for any of you boomers out there, do you remember Boston Chicken? Came out in 1985. It was called Boston Chicken, and it was pretty much the premier spot to get any type of home-style meal. I mean, where would you typically go for something like this? This was the spot. And then in 1995, they decided to rename it to Boston Market because the selection was so damn big that they were like, you know what? We're just gonna offer a lot more than just chicken. Boston Chicken. Let's take a look inside. You could still see right there. You can still see the specials right there. The meatloaf, they're advertising it along with the iconic sign. That's actually a pretty sleek sign right there, right on that glass cabinet. And you can even see the menus are still on there. But like I said, guys, this is the last remaining Boston Market on Long Island. This is pretty crazy. Look at all these chairs still set up. Why do they leave all this stuff here? Don't people need chairs? They just left it like it's never been a thing. In 2022, the Boston Market headquarters was seized. You want to know why? Because they weren't paying their taxes. The headquarters is apparently in Colorado, and Boston Market had to give that up because they weren't filing their taxes. I don't know. There's a lot of suppliers that goes into this type of thing. I mean, just think about it. Think of all the rotisserie chicken they have to send out if you're like a distribution. All the types of food you're packaging, frozen, I don't exactly know, but it's a lot of stuff going on in that supply chain. And what's happened recently is you go to a supermarket and you guys will see there'll be like a rotisserie chicken there. There'll be like a whole chicken, and it's kind of like a loss leader. I'm talking like Stop and Shop, King Cullen, all of these places. They'll sell these things at a much cheaper price because they want you to buy more groceries. So you walk in and there's like a chicken for like $8.99 and you're like, oh my God, no brainer. And by doing that, Boston Market has had a tough time keeping up. We're right here on Old Country Road, guys. This is Carl Place. What happened to the Boston Market in Carl Place? Now, there's a few other Boston Market locations around Long Island, one of them actually being in Hicksville, but that turned into Wild Fig. Comment below if you know other Boston Market locations that have maybe transformed into something new, something a little bit more different. This still stands as a Boston Market. Let's take a look in. Let's see some more of what's going on in this store. I want you to pan up at these signs right over here. And you can see just how destroyed this building has become. You know, this facade has completely been torn off. I don't know what happened. I don't know if weather ailments or whatnot. But take a look at this sign over here. That is really something else. What do you think they're going to turn this into, guys? I mean, there's rumors that they're going to turn this into another chicken fast food type of spot, but I mean, we're in Carl Place right now. You got KFC, you got literally so many different types of stores that could do that type of thing. Boston Market, I guess, just can't compete anymore. Grocery stores kind of took it out. There's rumors that there's still some Boston Markets around. I heard there's actually a Boston Market that still exists in the Bronx. Should I go there? Let me know, guys, because I'm a little disappointed. I never got to have my last meal here. I would always get the meatloaf, and I would get it with a side of like mac and cheese, sometimes some mashed potatoes, with the gravy and some lemonade. I'm just thinking about it. I know a lot of people weren't the biggest fan of Boston Market. Maybe it was a little too like fast foody or what have you, but I always felt like Boston Market was pretty, not healthy, but it was pretty delicious. Like it was a delicious meal. It was better than like a McDonald's or like a Burger King. It's pretty funny. The building next to this is actually a Burger King as well. So I'm going to pull out the drone in a few minutes and I'm going to show you guys what this building looks like on top. What would you guys order at Boston Market? Boston Market had some real problems with the distributors. They weren't able to really make their ends meet. I mean, they were trying to fulfill all of these orders from chicken to just all of the different stock and perishable goods. People weren't getting paid and the landlords started getting frustrated. People started exiting out of these buildings because they weren't able to make their rents. They weren't able to uphold with all of these different costs that they had to deal with. I mean, imagine being a franchise owner of Boston Market. You had to order dozens and dozens of chicken and you don't know if it's going to sell or not. I mean, that's perishable stock. So, you know, these people are in a tight position. And when you have supermarkets, which own everything, able to charge, you know, $10 for a rotisserie chicken, it makes it hard to compete. Boston Market really got expensive towards the end there. I remember being able to get a meal and it was a lot of money. It was pretty tough to get a meal like that. It was kind of like a more gourmet meal. But did you feel like you were getting value? I don't know. Boston Market, of course, had desserts as well. You could get chocolate cake. I loved getting a slice of chocolate cake right before the register, and they had like cookies and stuff like that. Who remembers the dessert at Boston Market? Let's take one last look at that sign. we have the other video exploring the abandoned Burger King in Syosset, Long Island. I wanted to do this Boston Market because I felt like those kind of went together. We checked out an abandoned Burger King, and we're checking out this abandoned Boston Market. Not much of this exists, guys. Like this stuff like this Boston Market, this building may seem pretty trivial and, you know, just generally speaking, but this type of stuff is on its way out. So we're not going to be able to see buildings like this anymore. This red paint on the brick and the Boston Market facade, you know, this is ingrained in our brains, but in a decade from now, you may never see this again. So this is like pretty cool documentation. I hope you guys are enjoying the episodes. Be sure to check out the Burger King video as well. But now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna bust out a drone and we're gonna take a look at this whole property here in Carl Place. Let's see what they're gonna do to it. This is Grossman World Boston Market. Let's check it out. You guys have any suggestions for what I should name this drone? I think this is becoming a mainstay on the channel here. But with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Grossman World. Comment where I should go next. I'll see you guys next time.
That's weird.
What happened?
Honey, what about dinner?
I'm already out the door.
This is like camping.
There you go.
How about some food worth slowing down for? Like the $11.99 meal deal, a whole chicken, 4 regular sides, 3 cornbread, and a 2-liter Coke. And try one of our scrumptious new desserts starting at 99 cents. Boston Market. Slow down.